Yo, what up, everybody? It's Crypto Oki. Let's go. All right. We are going to be just focusing on Litecoin right now because this is the only, well, as you can see, up 11% today. Most of the other markets kind of obviously down, but it was still trying to find some sort of a bottom, and it looks like Litecoin has found it. And it's definitely far and away the best looking chart in crypto right now, especially compared to Solana. I love seeing Solana down. I don't know. Maybe it's because I never trade it correctly or don't trade it really, honestly. But just off the top. For reference, we're 50% down since the Trump coin, essentially. And then, going to, I hope it falls so far. And then here, looking at Litecoin, we're essentially up, or, from that same time period, it's really negligible, 10%, but it's really just in that, it's really on the highs too. So here, but no, we won't focus on that. Well, that's a big point. It is, that's why I've loved this bull market a little, because it hasn't been easy. You have had to choose the correct charts, the correct cryptocurrencies, or you've been left out. And that's, I don't know. I guess it feels like a Bitcoin maxi kind of stance here in a way. It's funny, all the dino crypto people are dino maxis with all the meme coins. I mean, it's good to see. I mean, it was, it is what it is, but took away all the liquidity from the market. And, but people who want to make money are going to gravitate towards the cryptocurrencies that are going up. And those will not be the meme coins or, so we'll see. Here's the big triangle. It kind of looks similar to the triangle we had in XRP that broke out. So that's kind of the similar kind of thesis we're working with here. Definitely well within this triangle. So I'm expecting big numbers. To start with, I would say an initial target, 397. Let's just say if it breaks out, sometime this summer, we'll give it a little bit generous. We're looking at about a $540 Litecoin would be my minimum target. If this thing were to look like that, then I would also give it kind of a bottom structure, which I also think this would hit. Of about $800. So my two targets to, let's put it here, targets 540. And then my second target would be 800. So these are definitely my minimum targets, to be honest with you. The all-time high here was 420. So, I mean, that's not even a double to the second target. I think it'll probably triple, at least maybe quadruple. So that puts us into the $1,000 range, which I do expect us to get to. But I think it's good to take profits off of these classical patterns. So I'll probably be, maybe 25% at each of these levels, and then looking at the 1,000 to 1,500 range to be a pretty kind of like a high target, a medium to high target, I would call that. So these are my minimum targets. 1,000 to 15,000, 1,500 would be my kind of I think there's 60-75% chance that happens. I think there's like a 90% chance these 540 800 hits. Maybe 60% chance that these hit. And then my other thesis is something like Litecoin going up high enough to where it retraces 90% and stays above 420 or above 500 really. So that would put us, let's just say we had a $4,000 Litecoin, in the future, and then it crashed 90% ish, call it 88, and we stayed up there, something like that. So that would mean that we get to like $4,000, and I'll put that at like 25% chance. That's kind of my gut. Kind of feels like we can do something like that. I don't know. That's tough. That's a 10x from the top. It's definitely doable. We've never seen these triangles for this long because crypto hasn't existed this long. XRP is definitely the leader of this kind of action, but Litecoin, I believe, will in the next 3 months be the leader more or less. But like XRP can really continue higher too. I expect them both to be higher, but Litecoin is just showing that it wants to break out of this triangle. So there's let's look at some indicators here. I mean, I know they're going to look good because of the moving averages, but yeah. I mean, we're just kind of starting this action. I mean, we're in the second month of the MACD crossing over. If you look over here in the 2020, 2021 bull run, I mean, if we're just here, I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 more months easily of upside here that could happen. But I think it's going to be bigger than the 2020, 2021. I don't think it's going to be as big as the 2017 bull market, but it's for some of these cryptocurrencies, the dinos that I've been preaching for the last year. That's what's going to happen here. The dinos. It's the year of the dino for sure. We can look at the RSI. RSI. Again, you have two things here. You have one, you're kind of right at this level, the 60% ratio that, it's not even really full-fledged bull yet. So that's great. Shows a lot of upside there. And then on the flip side, it's like, well, it's not, technically we're not necessarily there yet, but we're close. We're close. I'll put the CMF up there. I'm going to delete this one. Yeah, CMF, a lot of buying. This is great. Great action there. Let's just check out the weekly. So the weekly, we got this congestion, kind of consolidation area. It's having, after, a tough early week, doing great midweek, and I expect this to probably go green. The MACD never turned over. CMF is fine. RSI is also fine. All right, let's go into what's happening. Let's go into this ascending triangle on the daily that we have. So this kind of began, you can kind of draw it a few places, but essentially early November, mid-November. We're looking at, we need a break of 140. 140 is the magic number here. Dropped below the 20-day, stayed well above the 200-day, which is great. I like this bounce from early February, the Trump tariff meltdown that we had, well off the highs, not even, bouncing off the bodies of these candles, not even worse. I mean, let's just look at Bitcoin right here. There's the Trump tariff lows. We're below that. we're below that by 5 or 6%. I won't even show you Solana. You already know. But so we're having an absolutely amazing day. I don't foresee this going straight up yet into, into early March. But sometime by mid-March, I do expect this thing to break higher, especially from this bounce. I'm loving it. Can we come up to the 130s? Maybe we, touch this, take out this low here, and then late March blast off. But yeah, Litecoin is definitely the play here for some, to lead the market. I think we want to see that actually, even if you're in any of the cryptos, it's the strongest right now, and we're going to need it to break higher, and then that'll kind of tell us, the bottom is in. So yeah, there you go. We can let's look at the 4 hour just to show how we reclaimed the 200 moving average. The 20 never even crossed. I thought that was going to cross and kind of create a little bit of a problem, but we've held it. So, I do think we'll probably test it again. It would be a little bit, I like that we didn't spend much time below it, but I would suspect something like a retest of this 120 area before hopefully going higher. So we'll keep an eye on that. But the important thing is the 200 moving average. We've reclaimed it, one candle above it, going on 2 candles above it. Hopefully the 20 will kind of flatten out and head higher again too. So that's great. All right, let's look at Litecoin versus Bitcoin. Obviously, it's doing great. We're retesting the relative highs of December. And these are levels, since last year of April. So, this is significant. I really believe that. The 200 day is sloping up now. This is excellent. On that little crash we just had, we retested the breakout of the symmetrical triangle here, and we're heading higher. So now we could kind of have a horizontal resistance here somewhere. That could, you could even almost say you have it here, kind of cup and handle ish. But so yeah, maybe in a couple of days, I'm not exactly sure, but we could really break out any moment. Let's check the 4 hour just for the heck of it. Yeah, beautiful test off. That's why it bounced. It had double support here of the 200 moving average on the 4 hour and the symmetrical triangle. So that was beautiful. Let's see if we can really punch above it. But yeah, that's looking great. And now let's look at Litecoin dominance chart. This is against all the other cryptos. It usually does look similar to the Litecoin Bitcoin chart, but it's even a little bit more bullish, I would say. Definitely this rounding bottom. It's well above the December highs. 200 moving up, bounced off the 20. We'll check it out on the 4 hour. Yeah, so I need the TD. So the weekly. So yeah, these are good scooping bottoms. It's not a double bottom. It doesn't necessarily have a huge pattern, but I think it's fine. It's just a little harder to read when you're comparing them, but the gist is, you're above that 200 day moving average, which is huge, and breaking, it hasn't been at this level since January of 24. So that's a year. So could we, come back down and wait till the spring, summer? Yes, but I think this thing's ready to go. And just the fact that it's leading the market, there's not another better, crypto that I'm aware of, and I'm mostly aware of the top, 100 or so coins. I guess, I don't know if you call these like big market cap cryptos, the top 25. I think it might be number 12 right now. I'm not exactly sure. Sometimes it says it in here. I'm not gonna look around. All right, last thing, we're just gonna look at the order book. So here we got the Litecoin USD. So we're seeing some selling at these levels, which is fine. Kind of pulling back right now. So hopefully we kind of consolidate in this, 127 to 121 range. We'll kind of see. Hopefully the selling dissipates, get some buying somewhere around here. So that looks fine. I mean, not much else to say there. Litecoin, Bitcoin, also seeing a little bit of selling, but not much. I mean, before that, here's the other two or previous tops. We got a lot of thick red band selling. So it works. And this is pretty light, to be honest. So I'm liking it. Again, it's not necessarily imminent, but I think we're within a couple of weeks of this thing breaking out of the 140 range. And then it's really not that far away. The momentum's going to push us up into this 160, 170 range. And then we break that and it's off to the races. So that's what I'm looking for here. I mean, so let's just, from the current price, from the current price, just to break this 140, because that's where, this high right here, you could even say 142. But anyway, we're about 13%. So yeah, it's not going to do that tomorrow, the next day probably, but that's looking good. So, 13, 14% breaking this triangle. This triangle has essentially a target of $185, $187. That would break the symmetrical triangle action here, and that would kick off another. So dominoes are falling for Litecoin. I like what I'm seeing. Yeah, we're about, 60, about 30%. So, I think Litecoin is definitely the play. If you're wondering which coin, I mean, maybe not literally today after 10% runoff, but I mean, I would much rather buy this even at this price than Solana or anything else. I mean, here's my Monero chart. I could kind of adjust this kind of if I really wanted to and kind of say we're still in it. But I mean, just the other cryptos, I mean, I think they're fine. I'm not, too worried about them, but I'll take the crypto that's leading the market, almost 9 times out of 10. I mean, look, Ethereum looking like crap today. Zcash is looking strong. Looking like it wants to put in some sort of bottom, but I mean, look at these other coins. These are the best. Bitcoin Cash. Let's go with Solana. I love it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. You want to buy the bottom. Okay, there you go. You got a chance to buy the bottom. It's going to keep going. I mean, obviously I do believe somewhere in this, this 130 to 120 range will bounce you, but it's not going to bounce you straight up. I would love it if that's just the top. And I mean, it just seems like it. I mean, it's really the only crypto that's not a meme coin that's getting so much attention. So, I mean, and it had a great run. I mean, it had a great run. It was definitely the leader of the pack from the FTX crash, 2023, 2024. I mean, this was the coin. So congrats. But anybody getting in now, I think is going to be very disappointed. I mean, I would I hope this thing, I mean, can we get a bull market without Solana? I think you can if ETH takes over. But more or less, I just see this thing going sideways for a while. But that's pretty ugly. That's pretty ugly. So if you want, this is okay, you believe in Solana and you want to wait for a longer time. Sure. I mean, I don't find any moral high ground in that when you could be in Litecoin, which looks like it wants to break out and go higher. Look at the indicators. I mean, look at this. The MACD looks horrible. RSI is horrible. CMF, coming down to this even line. No, it's not it. That's not it, folks. That's not it. So right now, we're just focused on Litecoin. I'm not doing anything with, Monero looks pretty all right. Stellar's pretty tough. Ripple as well. But because these are holding such high levels, I'm not, well, that's kind of interesting. I didn't see the RSI or the MACD crossover like that, which it probably will because we only have 4 days left. Yeah, I mean, some of these other coins, it is, they're not, I'm not going to say, here's what happened after Stellar crossed over and we've gone down since. So, so that's kind of like weekly was like a mid-range, but again, looking at the monthly here for XLM and XRP, I think we're fine. I think it's going to be something like this. We went up, overbought, back down, kind of like this, and then one more pump. So that's what I'm expecting out of Ripple and XLM. But Litecoin looks like it's ready to begin its first pump, and it might have more of a linear pump without a pullback, but more steady. Whereas XRP and XLM have a very first big initial pump, pullback, second pump. So that's what we're looking at. It's a dino world, and that's all I got to say. So, yeah. All right, peace. Let's go.